So have you ever heard the term sharing is caring? Well, in this video, we're going to show you how you can share some of your projects that you created inside of Design Space with other users. So I bring this up here, right here. It's My Projects. You can get to it by clicking File and go to My Projects. And you'll notice that it has this little check mark here for public. Okay, so Design Space does have some rules as far as sharing goes. Okay, but to answer the question, how do I share my design? As long as it has a check here, and maybe some of your designs, if you click the edit button, will have a little toggle switch where you can turn it on to be saved. Basically, all you have to do is, if it has a check mark, you can go to the project of interest that you're trying to share. And then up at the top where the URL is, you can simply copy this and you can email it, you can send it in a tweet, you can text it, and as long as they have Design Space and they're signed in, they can go ahead and have that project. Now, a question that may come up is, well, if they go to that URL and they can see my design and they change things on it, will I see that? Well, the answer to that question is no. They will have their own separate file. So you maintain the ownership of yours. However, anybody with that link can and will see your saved file. Okay, so keep that in mind, that when you do have it set to public, that it is, wide open. Anybody with that link can share. So if you share that with Grandma and Grandma shares it with her friends, they will be able to see your final saved version of it. All right, so let's talk about some of the rules that go along with sharing. So I'm going to go ahead and go up here to File and go up to Project. So let's take a look at this. My first SVG project, if I go and try to click the Edit, I don't have that option for public. And that's because if you are using anything that you basically uploaded, whether that be an SVG, a DXF file, or maybe it's a photo, a JPEG, a PNG, a GIF, and, to include patterns that you have uploaded as well. If any of your projects contain those, well, your project will not be shareable. So if, for example, in this welded image tutorial, if I would have brought in an image and I click Insert Image, this is no longer shareable now. So as soon as I click Save, we should get like a little warning now saying project cannot be shared. Do you still want to save it? No, I don't. So keep that in mind when you're doing that stuff. Another funny rule is when you're dealing with fonts, and more specifically system fonts, because your computer is different than Grandma's computer. Okay, she has different fonts installed than you do. And if you use a font that you just recently downloaded, chances are Grandma's not going to have that font. And when that happens, I have an example set up right here. And say, for example, my grandma sent me a link and she wanted to share her project with me. And so here it is, and it's coming in, and I get this little message: the fonts cannot be found on my computer. A substitute has been used. Okay, so that's what will happen if your friend who's sharing the file saves their stuff as a font that I don't have on my system. And you may be asking yourself, well, Rob, is there something that I can do in order for me to use Grandma's file? Well, yes. A couple things you can do. You can go ahead and download the font and, recycle your Design Space, just like we did in the How to Add a Font video. And as long as you click Grandma's link, you should be able to see and use her file correctly utilizing that font. So hopefully that that helps you with how you can share some of the sharing capabilities that that Design Space gives you and doesn't give you, and how to sort of troubleshoot some of the items or the difficulties with bringing it in, in the font case on, not having that as a system font. You don't see it too much with the Cricut fonts because they are installed on every single Design Space. Hopefully that made sense, and thanks for watching this video.